Well, hey everyone, here we are for Joy Workout number 73. How exciting. So I'm house sitting right now. I have a dog and a cat here. I'm a little bit flummoxed because everything is everywhere because I'm staying in the garage apartment, but here, this is the big house, which I had to come to in order to get better Wi-Fi. And anyway, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. I'm having the best time here, but getting myself organized has been a little bit tricky. So, and I have a big, big aha today that's just awesome. I think you're going to love it. So I promised that during these joy workouts that I would always do my best to refer to the 12 Practices ebook and Sanctuary, and things that people can easily have in common and refer to together, so that we can be on the same page conversationally. I think that's important, because sometimes I jump way too far ahead because I'm so excited, and then people who are just beginning might feel left out then. So I want you to know it's an effort for me to do the basics, and I'm enjoying it. So if we think about the idea of gratitude, that is part of like practice number 7, which has to do with emotions that are elevated and abundant versus lack. Oh, here's Flower sitting on my notebook again, right where my notes are. Thank you, Flower. Okay, she's going behind the computer. She wants to eat my notes. The dog ate my homework. Gratitude also goes with the Sanctuary ebook. Mantra number 1 is thank you. I want to, before I share today's actual workout, I want to express gratitude to all of the many teachers that led me to this awareness of today. And with the 12 practices, I usually thank Mario Martinez and Brene Brown for influencing that work. And with the Sanctuary ebook, I often refer to Pete Walker and to Richard Grannon, even though there's so many other people like in that work. So I want to take a moment and just offer gratitude to all the shoulders that we are standing on together. This is a collective effort. It's a collective movement and evolution of society that we are pioneering. So in that context, I still do listen to Richard Grannon's videos at times when he puts out new ones. I don't really like going into his political ideology stuff, but when he did a basic one today with somebody, they were talking about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and about anxiety, and he said a phrase that really stands out to me as the enemy that at Joy-Based Living, we are heroically, we're transforming the enemy, we are transmuting the enemy, we're overcoming the enemy individually and societally. And this little words have so much power. They're like the modern version of like what the wizards would put in little bottles and things. Serial dissociation was the phrase that he said. Serial dissociation. Now, what I really like about that is, in the Sanctuary ebook, we talk about dissociation. We talk about hypervigilance, and those two things being like key red flags for knowing if if you need help, if you need support for your own healing. When he said serial dissociation, I was like, yes. And that bridged me to thinking about Mario Martinez, who says, don't just think about the mind body. Think about the mind body in culture. See, I think a lot of times when we talk about trauma, or we talk about hypervigilance, or we talk about dissociation, there's like a feeling of shame that comes with talking about it, saying it out loud. It's like it comes with explanation and all this stuff. But if we say serial dissociation, it's not personal anymore. We're all doing it. And if we want to pop out of the bubble, we have to pop out together. Because if you're in a household and there are 20 people in the household, a big household, and you are the only one who is not dissociating and everybody else is, that's not just a lonely place to be, that is a crazy making place to be. Does that make sense? So the phrase serial dissociation, I'm going to make one more bridge, and this was for those of you who've been in this conversation with me for a while. And that bridge is, we read a book a few years ago. Oh, by the way, as I'm talking about serial dissociation, I realized I didn't put my rings on today. There's my Statue of Liberty ring, real copper from the real original Statue of Liberty, and my self-love ring. So serial dissociation. We were reading a book a few years ago called Story Branding. Because being at the leading edge of something, how do you talk about it? How do you share it with people, especially if some of the words you're using, like shame, are like freaking people out and they're going into dissociation, like right there. So I've been dealing with this on a public level for a long time. Well, in this book about story branding, and I'm not recommending the book or not recommending the book. I'm just giving you context here. What the author of that book, whose name I forget, says is that in every really great branding of a product or a service or something, there's a story. And in every great like epic story, there's like a hero and there's an enemy. I'm sure I'm butchering the exact way he said it, but what flashed to me today, I'm just sharing that with you to give you context, was that serial dissociation is the enemy. If you have a story and there's no enemy in the first 5 minutes, you don't know what your hero or heroine is fighting. Either fighting for, fighting against, maybe they're lovelorn and they're lonely, and you see that in the first 2 minutes of a movie. He says if you don't have that captured, what the hero or heroine wants and what's their enemy, if you don't have that in the first couple minutes, you're not going to grab people's attention well enough. Well, so I wrote serial dissociation. This is the enemy in story branding that JBL is heroically transmuting and transforming. Now, serial dissociation includes all of the cultural conditioning, mass marketing, power mongering agendas of the media, of corporate, and I'm really glad for the word serial dissociation, because when we don't have a good word like that, it can be so tempting to make corporate the enemy, which I think is a very, very, that's not a good thing to do. That's not the way to transmute and transform society. So finding the right enemy, or making the enemy your parents, or, well, they were part of society, or making, the media and their power mongering ways of being the enemy, then all of a sudden you're in a fight that what if the leaders of those places are dissociated? How do you reach somebody who's dissociated? So let's flip the metaphor. What if 19 out of 20 people living in a house are not dissociated? What's the likelihood of that 20th person being dissociated? It's very, very unlikely, because if you have 19 people in a house who are not dissociated, that means that they are safe to feel authentically. You see how it's coming back around to our practices. It means that they are safe to experience honor, commitment, and loyalty. It means that they are not under the carpet wounding each other with shame, abandonment, betrayal. It means that things are on the table. So if serial dissociation is the enemy, then what we are doing is we are providing awareness to ourselves and to each other, acceptance, awareness and acceptance of the dissociation, and we're taking action. How are we doing that? We're doing that by being conscious. I have some C words for you. By being conscious, by having community, because dissociation is a community problem. We learn to dissociate because other people hurt us. That's how we learn to dissociate. So we have to unheal it that way. So there's 4 C's: being conscious, having community, having connection, authentic connection, and having collaborations. And when we have those in our lives, the ripple effect out, I can't even measure, because when we're doing that, we're coming from love, and love is the place where miracles happen. And so love rules. When you put love next to dissociation and both are on the table, both are in consciousness, then love will win. And I think having this conversation right here, Joy Workout number 73, empowers us to be more clear about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and also gives us language to be able to share it. I was hoping to have a joy-cabulary word for you out of this. And I think that making one up right now just feels a little bit contrived, so I won't do it. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for caring about your own journey and being willing to share so authentically about your own experiences, whether it's a moment where you're feeling afraid, or it's a moment where you're feeling excited, or it's a moment where you're actually feeling dissociated. Whether it's that you just need to set a boundary for a minute, like one of our members is going through something right now, and she wrote to me and she said, I just want you to know I'm going through this, and I don't want to talk about it right now. I will when I'm ready, but this is really hard right now. And so that's a healthy boundary. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is practice. This is conscious. It's community. It's connections, authentic connections, and it's collaborations. And what we're collaborating to do is to be fully expressed, fully ourselves. And your joy workout. What should be your joy workout from this? Learn the word serial dissociation. Just think about the word. Contemplation is what makes a genius a genius. A genius is somebody who will contemplate something over many years. So they could be a genius in one area and completely, not genius in another area. So I want you to awaken your genius about this topic by contemplating the phrase serial dissociation. Like, what does that mean for you? This is a pioneering conversation. I don't have all the answers. I do have an openness to learning and growing together. And so I would love to hear some of your thoughts about this topic of serial dissociation. What do you think? Do you think that's the enemy that we are heroically facing? Do you think I've hit the right spot? Is that the right word? Is that the enemy at Joy-Based Living? The enemy at Joy-Based Living. So I would really, really love your responses, especially at Patreon and or at YouTube. And I think what's going to be next for me is to rev up the game at YouTube, so that I've even stopped putting out blog posts at the blog, because I want to put people's attention at YouTube so that we can grow the community there, because the message is just getting clear enough that I feel really comfortable and confident about doing that. So thank you so much for being here with me through this journey. We're at Joy Workout 73, and we've got 50, 25, 25, 26, 27 more to go. If there's any topic that I haven't discussed that you'd really like me to, please let me know, either in a comment or privately in a message. I love you so much. See you tomorrow for tomorrow's Joy Workout. Bye for now.